Welcome. Our spiritual exercise today is imaginative prayer, continuing the early life of Jesus. Today we go to Nazareth in Luke chapter 2, verses 39 to 40. Have your Bible with you. There's a couple verses there, but it's always nice to have it in case you need it later. And again today, the grace we're asking for is the grace to know Jesus personally and to have such a personal encounter with him that it gives us the grace that we need to follow him wherever. That's the prayer, right? To know him more clearly, to follow him more nearly, you might say. Luke chapter 2, verses 39 and 40. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew, became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. I want you to close your eyes. Holy Spirit, be with us today. Guide our spiritual senses, lead us, take us where you want to take us, surprise us with your love. I want you to imagine in your mind's eye the interior of a very humble home from 2,000 years ago in Nazareth. Let's start with the floor. It's a dirt floor. Just imagine the dirt floor, the earthen floor. Stone walls made out of the rocks that are around them, with rough mortar in between the jagged rocks that aren't necessarily bricks as much as they're just rocks. Lots of light pouring into the house from the windows with no glass, just holes, squares in the walls that let the light pour forth with warmth. It's a small home, very meager in the poverty of Nazareth, but if you can imagine a door leading from the outside to the inside, and Mary walks in. She's singing with a beautiful voice. What'd she look like? Remember, she's Middle Eastern, olive complexion skin, a little darker than we think maybe. That very Jewish, Israeli black hair. John Paul II said the body makes visible the soul, and if she had a beautiful soul, she must have had a very beautiful demeanor about her. She was a beautiful woman. And she's singing because she loves to sing. She kind of mills around the house, taking care of this and that. All of a sudden you are at the door also, and you knock on the door and she invites you to come in. She's so happy to see you. She remembers you from the cave when he was born. She gives you this big hug. And just as you are embracing, this 6-year-old little boy walks in. Jesus, when he's a kid. Kind of got dirt on his face and sweaty hair, and he's just laughing too because he loves it when his mama sings. He stands there and he looks at you, and there's just a joy about him. Next in walks Joseph. What's Joseph look like? Again, that black hair of a Middle Eastern Jewish person, his olive skin. He's been working. That's a carpenter. He's kind of sweaty. He bends down, he picks up Jesus and kind of tickles him, and Jesus laughs, and Mary loves it when they laugh, and Joseph loves it when Mary's laughing, so he's laughing, and gosh, just the joy of Nazareth. As the afternoon unfolds, as the day unfolds, you're just there with them all day, just kind of in the house and feeling the joy that's there. Later on that day, at the end of the day, as you spend all day with them, it's time for bed. Candles now in the house, lighting up the house with a real beautiful warmth. Mary and Jesus are kind of just kneeling in the kind of open room in the house, and Joseph places his hands on his wife's head and begins to pray over her. You feel this love for her. God, does he love her? And he bends down and kneels down in front of his son, Jesus, and places his hands on Jesus' head and begins to pray. You can hear him whispering in Hebrew over his son. You're there. You're kind of watching the whole thing. Stay with them as they pray in Nazareth. God bless you.